The third person mentioned in the above hadith is he in whose lifetime one or both of his parents reach old age and yet he is unable to gain Jannah by serving them. The ulama have stated that in every permissible act it is compulsory to obey the parents' commands. One should not be disrespectful to them and be humble, even though they be non-believers. Neither should one raise his voice above theirs nor address them by their names and give them due precedence. When they have to be called toward the good and prohibited from the evil, it should be done leniently, and that one should continue to pray for them, even if they refuse to accept. At all times, they should be honored and respected. In a hadith, it is related, the best of doors for entering Jannah is the father, if you wish to look after it, and if you wish destroy it. A Sahabi inquired of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what are the rights due to parents? He replied, they are your heaven and your hell, i.e., their pleasure leads you to the gardens of paradise, while their displeasure leads you to the hell realms. Further, it is stated in a hadith that when an obedient son looks with love and affection at his parents, the reward for that gaze shall be the same as a maqbul, hajj, accepted pilgrimage. And another hadith, it is stated that, except joining other gods with Allah, Allah forgives all sins as He pleases. However, He inflicts punishment in return for disobedience to parents, right in this world, before death. A Sahabi said, O Rasulullah, I want to go for jihad. I want to go for striving. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked, is your mother alive? He replied, yes. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam then said, serve her. Paradise lies under her feet for you. Again, another hadith says, the pleasure of Allah lies in pleasing one's father, and Allah's displeasure lies in displeasing one's father. However, when parents who had not been purportedly treated and respected are now dead, there is a remedy for their children according to the Sharia, the middle path law. The hadith teaches us that in such cases one should constantly pray for their forgiveness, and by so doing will be counted amongst those who are obedient. Another hadith states that the best deed one can do after the death of one's father is to treat his friends and companions in a friendly manner, as the father would have done. Hadith 4. Show God your righteousness in Ramadan. Ubadah ibn Samit, God be pleased with him, reports that the Messenger of God, divine contact upon him in wholeness, said, one day when Ramadan had come near, the month of Ramadan, the month of blessings, had come upon you, wherein God turns towards you and sends down His special mercy, forgives your faults, accepts prayers, and appreciates your competing for the greatest good and boasts to the light beings about you. So show to God your righteousness, for truly the most pitiable and unfortunate ones is he who is deprived of God's mercy in this month. An Ubadata ibn Samitin radiyallahu anhu anna Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam qala yaman wa haddarana Ramadanu atakum Ramadanu shahru barakatin yagshakumullahu fiha fayun zelu rahmatan fiha wa yahutul qataya wa yastajibu fiha du'a yansurun lahu ta'ala ala tanafusikum fiha wa yubahi bikum fala tahu fa'arulaha min anfusikum khairan fa'anna shakya man hurma fiha rahmatallahi azza wa jalla. And this is narrated by Tabrani. Note, in this saying, we read about the spirit of competition among the believers, each one trying to do more good deeds than the others. At our own home, I am greatly pleased at seeing how even the women folk compete with each other, the one trying to recite more of the Quran than the others, so that in spite of domestic responsibilities, 15 to 20 parts of the Quran, out of 30, are read by each one daily. I mean this only out of a sense of gratitude to Allah, indicating His favor, and not to boast of it. May God accept their deeds and ours, and increase our capacity for good deeds. And sometimes we question our capacities, physically, psychologically. Well, psychologically is a product of physically, but you know what I mean. The body and the mind, we think about our capabilities. But we want these increased as far as we're going to do good with them. That we don't want our abilities increased. We shouldn't want our abilities increased in such a way, but we don't proportionally increase our goods, so the merit involved in our lives, that's not per se so good. And perhaps if we waste too much of our resources of time and otherwise, that it doesn't, that it's the difference between encouraging someone is like, oh, well, look at the difficulty this person goes through, and this is what they do. I'm encouraged far more than, if they aren't going through the difficulty. And, so your legacy, your memory could be even greater because you don't have the resource. But that doesn't mean you don't strive for the good of this world.